It's time for Game 4 of this best-of-7 series. The Clippers and the Mavericks in the NBA playoffs. Presented by Google Pixel. And a first round presented by ESPN Bet. Sellout crowd tonight at the American Airlines Center for Game 4. Clippers took Game 1 at home. The last two games, Mavericks won Game 2 on the road, won Game 3 here on Friday night. And Luka Doncic and the Mavericks with a 2-1 lead, looking to take a commanding 3. Hard to hear the whistle. This place is loud right now.
Ty Lue talked about wanting to get Paul George on the move against this Dallas Mavericks defense. He's already got 2 buckets off of off-ball movement, a 3, and this pretty leg. Shell of himself. And certainly Harden and Paul George right now are not a shell of themselves. How many times have we seen this, Doris? The step-back 3 from James Harden creates the separation. Buckets.
NBA First Round is presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN.
Today's unforgettable moment brought to you by Uber Eats. DB.
So Paul George at 6'8", 220 pounds, just squares up. Derek Jones is not in position to challenge, so he goes right into the 3. This is that tight curl. So if you're on his hip in the rearview mirror, he's going to go right to the cup. So he's got a feel at 6'8". Plays with the ball, without the ball. Big enough to get up and over, strong enough to absorb the contact.
Points. And a 16-point lead.
If you start with your defense and you get out, transition, and run, so often you get an excellent look, particularly in 3. So Powell gives it up wisely, the pitch out, and Paul George is cooking right now.
Buzzer, Norman Powell. What a first period for the Clippers. They're 8 of 11 from three-point range as Paul George and the Clippers throw a haymaker here in the first. Powell gets off the bench with 6 points. Paul George with 16 on 6 of 9 from the field as this presentation of the NBA playoffs continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. He gets Tyronn Lue off his feet. Timeout Clippers, but still the Clippers in control. Welcome back to the NBA playoffs presented by Google Pixel. First round by ESPN Bet.
Well, Ty Lue has been thrilled with their defense throughout the series. It begins at the point of attack. Terrence Mann is exceptional. He's long at 6'5". He knows how to guard, whether he's pressuring the basketball, he's being super physical. This is the new NBA. That's a call that used to be made all the time. Now the defense has a choice. Refuses to be screened by Josh Green, pushing up in pressure. All this does is take time off your clock. And against Luka Doncic in this series, with this guy guarding him, Luka's 4 for 21. Now Luka's going to have his moments, but you got to be tough.
Today's three-point performance brought to you by Starry Lemon Lime. JJ.
Well, this Terrence Mann 3 is wide open, but take a look at the degree of difficulty on some of these shots from Paul George, Norman Powell, James Harden. 5 different Clippers have made 3s so far. They shot really well in game 1, 18 threes. They've struggled.
A magnificent first half for Paul George, coming off a 7-point game in game 3. He erupts for 26 here in the first half of game 4. George, 9 of 14 from the field. He has 6 3-pointers. Also had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal. Exactly what the Clippers needed with no Kawhi Leonard here for game 4. Halftime in Dallas. Clippers by 17. First round presented by ESPN Bet. Paul George and the Clippers 14 of 21 from three-point range. They led by as many as 31, but the Mavericks came back and cut it to 17 as George bounces back after a rough Game 3. First half stats brought to you by New Balance. Just 3 of 11, 7 points. He was in foul trouble, only hit 1 3-pointer, and explodes out of the gate just when they needed it again because no.
Kyrie Irving picking up where he left off at the end of that first half. Off to a hot start in the third. So nice with the lefty leg.
Ability of Kyrie Irving to get on an extraordinary individual role. A transition 3, they were scuffling to score. He's well beyond the arc, he's feeling it. He knows he's the number 2, that this is Luka's team, but he also knows there's times where it's time for me to get busy. If he were 6'6", folks, this guy would be one of the greatest to ever do it. As it is, he's already a champ and by himself. 22-16.
Challenge it. He thinks that's a charge. He may win the challenge. Timeout. The challenge. Teron Lue's going to go 2 for 2 on the challenges.
Well, Kyrie Irving finds Derrick Jones Jr., and he's going to end up with the loose ball that Kyrie just relocates. I mean, this game right now, to be down 31 in the second quarter, and by the end of the third, you've got the building going, and it's been the defense. 3 guys contesting that dunk attempt from Zubac. What a comeback.
The Mavericks outscore the Clippers 29-16. Game 4 of this wild best-of-7 opening round playoff series. Mavericks down 31, cut it to 2 at one point. We still have a quarter to go. Fourth quarter coming up. This presentation of the NBA playoffs continues after this message and a word from our ABC station. Dallas, as the Clippers back up by 7.
Well, you said it, Doris. Live ball turnovers, such an important part of the game for the Mavs in Game 3. But right now, it's for the Clippers, and then Plumlee on the previous play, getting his fingertips on the ball.
NBA First Round is presented by ESPN Bet, the official sportsbook of ESPN.
Off the glass, 3 straight buckets from Harden, and a timeout call by Jason Kidd. Clippers up by 4.
Well, after a quiet third quarter, James Harden has answered the call here in the fourth. He's got 4 of these lefty floaters. Big one for the Clips.
Well, when this first round matchup was put forth, everybody said, wow, this has a chance to be a pretty compelling series. Mission accomplished through 4 games, all even at 2 apiece. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City and Minnesota are going to try and go for sweeps. The LA Lakers avoided the sweep. A wild afternoon here in Dallas. The final score, the Clippers 116, the Mavericks 111. ABC World News tonight, or your local news, is next on most of these ABC stations, except on the West Coast. Our producer, Tim Corrigan, director, Mike Schwab, outstanding ABC crew. Of course, for Doris, JJ, and Lisa, Mike Breen saying thanks so much for watching ABC, home of the NBA Finals.